A brand came to us about a product that had been over 7 years old with over 1,000 reviews. It was once a market leader, but over the last 3 years, sales were declining. It was losing market share month over month. Our team worked on this product and we turned it around back into a category leader. My name is Jason Isa. I'm the CEO and founder of Voadera, an e-commerce marketplace company that sold over $100 million on marketplaces like Amazon. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the story behind this product, the prep work that we did, and the exact four-step strategy that we executed on in this case, and the real results that we had after 60 days from implementing our strategy with specific KPIs and examples. The first thing I want to do is add a little bit of context. What's the story behind this product? So the brand owners of this product are actually really smart, very creative, and they understand their niche very, very well. Around 7 years ago, they launched this product. It was new to their category. There wasn't anything like it. It was a different type, it was a creative type of niche. It was fairly innovative, actually. And they were basically a first to market. The customer avatar loved this type of product. They jumped over it. It was ranking sales just within a couple months, actually. They were able to sell of this single product a couple hundred units a month with almost no ads, almost nothing, just because of how well it met customer demands. However, competitors caught on. A few years ago, competitors saw this type of lift and they decided to jump in the market late 2021, early 2022, and they started making replicas of it. But the difference is they got the technicals a little bit better. They added more images, the PDP, all that kind of stuff. And with that improvement and with that type of leverage, even though this one had more reviews, they started gaining ranking on this product. It's taking away from the sales that it once had, dropping around 60 to 70% of its original sales. So that's some of the backstory. I'm going to jump in what we did about this. Here's some of the prep work that we did before we executed our strategy. The first and most important thing is we've executed strategies and turnarounds like this many times before. We understand that we're going to be paying a lot of money temporarily to get back and win again. This is a short-term like cash infusion to get long-term gains, but with that, we want to make sure that we capitalize on it. And if we run out of stock, we obviously don't capitalize on anything. So we actually double the projection. So if we're usually ordering 3 months of stock, so let's say this sells 200 a month. Usually we're going to order 600. However, if we're doing a turnaround, we're going to order 1,200, double. We're expecting to double, for example. So we order 1,200 of this product, we stock it, and then even after that, we still keep a close eye. Week over week is usually overperforms. We do reorders often. We understand the lead time, etc. Because if we run out of stock, a lot of the momentum that we gain by doing this turnaround, by putting in this money and these resources and the time, might go to vain. So obviously we don't want that to happen. And the next thing obviously is just gathering insights, analysis, data, understanding the customer avatar further. What's been working with this niche? What's not been working? All this data, because this is going to be ammo for the changes that we execute and the strategy that we come up with. So doing, for example, customer reviews. What do they like? What do they don't like? What's the competitors? What are they seeing in main images, secondary images? What's resonating? Which ones have the highest click-through rate? Which ones don't? So that's just collecting data, insights, analysis, so we can execute more effectively. Now I want to get into the four-step strategy execution part. The first thing going into these type of turnarounds is the mindset. A lot of times people think it's just one big thing and it changes things. That's usually not how it works. It's a lot of small things. Actually, Howard Schultz in around 2008, they brought him in back in, I think, a CEO because the company was going down Starbucks. He basically, then in interviews, they ask him like, what's the big thing that you did? He's like, a lot of people ask me that question. It's never a big thing. It's a lot of small things. Changing the cup size, closing down bad stores, improving our sourcing material. And he's like, all those small things, they add up to a big change. And that's exact mentality we have with turnarounds and we've seen work. It's usually never just a big thing unless it's like the indexing or very niche or edge use cases. Basically, it's almost always a cumulative effort of things. So that's just the mindset that we always have. The first step that we executed on with this product is a PDP overhaul. That's where we've seen the biggest weakness. For example, it was missing premium A+ content. It was still on the old A+ content. It didn't have a brand story with discounts to other stuff. It was missing a lot of stuff within the PDP, and a lot of the SEO wasn't up to the latest standard with Cosmos and Rufus. It wasn't feeding into Rufus when they were asking it questions about the product that it did have. Just one example, like, is this, because it was a consumable, what is this product? It was a consumable, the pets area, so it was for dogs basically. Is this product safe to consume? Is it organic? Even though our product was organic, actually, it says there's no information whether this product is safe to consume, or what's the safety of consuming, basically along those lines. And it was missing other stuff as well. So we had to make sure that we're feeding all this information either into the SEO. Rufus obviously and Cosmo now read images, so into the secondary images, and making sure it has a full image stack of 6 to 7 images, back-end text, bullet points, all of that, just feeding information into the Amazon algorithm so that Rufus can give accurate questions to our customers' main concerns. And obviously, if it's something a little bit more risky, like with creative, we're doing pre-test things. There's tools like IntelliV, Pick4, we're spending money to see how this resonates with our customer. But then even we're doing post-testing. So we're looking at things like manager experiments. How does this new main image do against this one? We knew the main image sucked, so we didn't actually do any testing. We knew that like the one that we're introducing is substantially better. It's rare actually that this happened. Usually we're doing testing. That's one of the strategies that we do with stuff that's a little bit more controversial, we're a little bit more worried about, and that's the concept of the PDP overall, product detail page overhaul. So that's where we're looking, and that's the primary things that we execute in this case. The second part of this was our ad strategy. So we had to see which keywords and long tail keywords was our product's conversion rate better than competitors. Which one can we easily win on? And that's where we started with the most amount of money in first. So we started putting on specific keywords, specific targets, where we basically looked at this SQP, search query performance, and saw where our conversion rate was better than the market. And we dumped money into that. We also knew that the new stuff that we targeted with the PDP before was where we wanted to attack as well, because it's pointless to spend money on ads and then go back to PDP. Rather, PDP is free. You fix that first, obviously, but you also know what you're targeting. So, for example, if we're targeting organic pet foods, because we added that in the SEO and creative, now we can also target that in the ads. So it's kind of sequencing. That would be the next step for us. And that's where we went on. So we started going to the ad strategy. A lot of stuff was in auto campaigns before. It wasn't targeted enough. It wasn't targeting the stuff we wanted to target for. It wasn't targeting the stuff we wanted to rank for. So we made it much more. We ran SKCs, single keyword campaigns, to rank on specific stuff. And we redid the ad strategy to do for a successful turnaround to rank in the right keywords, basically. The third part of this was actually pricing adjustment. This product was at around not $18 to $20. We lowered it down to $14.99. We wanted to be market leaders. The main reason we did this, we were aggressive in the PDP and the pricing strategy, is we wanted to get Amazon's badges. So we lowered it enough to get Amazon's choice badge, which was huge. I'll talk about that in the results. And then we gradually went back up. You usually never want to just jump from, like, for example, in this case, it was 15 all the way back up to 20. We went to $1 at a time. We don't want to shock the market, but that's another thing that we did to help improve conversion. People saw that not only do we have a better rating, not only do we have more reviews, which we did, this was a better quality than the market, we also had a better price. So it was a no-brainer. Even if they saw it lower in the ranking, it kind of stuck out to them, the price, like, oh, everyone is, for example, $22. Look at this price when they're scrolling, it's 15. It was a scroll-stopping price. And that's what we did in this case as well. And since it was a consumable, we also added SNS coupons. So we did, I think, another 15% for SNS to get subscribers long-term, and that actually built our subscriber list for the long term. And even when you raise prices, I think we only had a 5 or 10% drop off in subscribers. So that was a third part of this strategy that we did. And last but not least is the fourth step, which was we added variations. Initially, this was only a one variation listing. We saw that we had drop off with the sessions and the conversion, and we know that there's usually different types of customers on Amazon, but one of them is they just want something, buy it now, one press click, I need this quickly. But other ones actually go in there to shop, and especially with the consumable, where they're more taking their time basically to pick the right choice. They want to feel like they went through enough options. They don't want to feel like, oh, I was lazy. And this is based on studying the customer avatar and knowing how they think and the psychological impacts that they have. Is they don't want to feel like, oh, I'm in a rush, I just bought my dog anything, for example. No, they want to see that, oh, I looked through a few options, which is variations, and then I bought something. And I'd rather have them look through a few options that we have instead of go on our listing, there's only one option. All right, this looks good, but let me see what else is out there. Then they go to another competitor's listing. No, I want them to look what else is out there within our variations. So we added another 3 variations, and we found a sweet spot to be around 4 to 5 variations to give the customers the feeling of shopping. So that was our 4-step strategy in Tune. The premise of everything behind this was we wanted to improve conversion rate. That's where our primary focus on. After that, obviously, fix the click-through rate, which improves the main image and other stuff like that, and also the price. But when Amazon sees a high conversion rate for a product, they get happy. They see like, okay, customers, when they search for this thing and they press on this thing, the product, then they eventually buy it. And Amazon wants a sale. They don't want customers to leave their app frustrated and haven't bought anything. So that started the flywheel. And that's when we started seeing the results. So now I'm going to get into the final section, which is the results. So after 60 days, it took a little while because you have to kind of feed Amazon's algorithm. The changes take time, like even the testing, the PDP 1 week. A lot of that is testing, like what reacted well, what didn't react well, which keywords are easy to win, which ones aren't, which variations are suitable. And even for the variations, we didn't have to be fancy. We just added case specs. You don't have to like make things overcomplicated. But anyways, we started seeing results after 60 days. The first one was our sales. This product went from $400 a week to $1,500 a week. That's what is that? That's more than triple. That's almost quadruple the amount of sales. The conversion rate, it went from 25 to 28%. And again, we believe that's what sparked everything. Even though it's a small difference of only 3%, category leaders, and we're established, we have a lot of other advantages. So this obviously improved it. Our click-through rate also improved in this case. It went from 1.6% to 1.8%. Our BSR, best sellers rank, for this category went from 42,000 to, I just checked today actually when I was recording this video, went to 19,200, and I think it was 30 or whatever. The biggest thing also that improved conversions, we got the Amazon's Choice badge. And even after we raised prices, we still had it. Amazon knew that even at the higher price, we're still price leaders in the market and we're fairly competitive. I actually made a video on how to win on Amazon without having to crush your competition. You can go check that here. But that's some of the results that we had for this. Thankfully now, basically, where do we go from here? So we're still going to be doing quarterly refresh on this listing, just as we do with all of our other listings that we partner with brands on. We're going to review the SEO, the PPC, what's the market looking for in the latest. We're also going to add more in-depth videos, walking through how do customers use it, that kind of stuff. That's some updates that are still to come, but I'm excited what we saw already. The partner we partnered with is obviously ecstatic about what we've seen so far. So all in all, if you have an established listing that has good ratings, that has good reviews, and it's been declining, don't give up on it. That just means that technically something sound. The hard part is the product. You already got the product right. You know you have a product market fit. The easier part and the stuff that's more actionable, I would say, it still takes time, it still needs testing, but it's still more workable than finding a good product, is actually the technicality. So the SEO, the PPC, you have to know obviously what's the relevant execution turnaround strategy for your product. That's what we help with. We do the analysis, but you have the first part right. You have the product right. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. I'm going to do a full actually brand turnaround really soon, within the next few weeks. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Make sure to check us out at Voadera if you want a free consultation call, strategy call for your brand if you're doing over $1 million a year.